face that you guys see on my screen, that's actually a age progress picture. And I'd like to thank you guys so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into this story about this missing child. So the picture that we have of what we knew the child used to look like is actually this one here. And this story is coming out of Houston, Texas. So again, Texas, we're taking the L for this, even though it happened a while ago. This is still an ongoing story, and we still think that there's hope left in finding this child. Let me give you guys a disclaimer before we go too deeply. That some of you guys might find my content controversial or offensive. The information is coming from credible sources, so you guys can verify that. The information also contains my personal, the video commentary also contains my personal opinion about the facts of the story. The point is to use this as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing these tragedies to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer for those who have thin skin. That baby is the subject of this story right here. In February of 2009, please keep that date in mind. 2009, Tiara McWilliams says she fled Houston and moved up north after suffering abuse at the hands of her child's father. She took her newborn baby by the name of Amira, Ameera, Diedrick, Deadrick. She took her newborn baby along with her, which is this child in question. He promised me that I would pay for taking his daughter from him, McWilliams recalled. Let me say that again because this part is extremely important. He made a promise that I would pay for taking his daughter from him. Eventually, McWilliams and Amira's father started communicating again. We talked almost every day. I sent him pictures of her daily, and he came to visit her, she explained. When Amira was 4 years old, McWilliams agreed to let her spend the summer of 2013 with her father, and I'm going to add, with her allegedly abusive father. Let's get back to the story. So I ad-libbed that a little bit. With her father and his girlfriend in Houston. When the time came for Amira to return to Wisconsin, that is a far distance, McWilliams said her father refused to bring her back. So in spring of 2014, Tiara bought a ticket to Houston and tried to take her daughter home, but she says he wouldn't let her. Her father was very strict about allowing me to see her. He wouldn't allow her to stay in my hotel room by herself. He wouldn't leave her with me. He just monitored the whole visit, said McWilliams. She tried to get police involved. For those of y'all who are probably wondering, why did she call police? Because it was definitely one of the things that I wondered initially. She tried to get police involved, but because there was not a custody agreement, the police could not help. Ultimately, McWilliams ended up returning to Wisconsin without Amira, and that's when the communication with her daughter dwindled. Phones started getting disconnected, and I couldn't reach out to anyone. No one was returning any of my phone calls or even opening my messages on Messenger, McWilliams said. The last time she spoke with Amira was when her daughter was 6 years old. After that conversation, all communication ended. McWilliams would spend the next year sending text messages to Amira's father and his girlfriend pleading to speak with her daughter. I filed court papers. I started getting things together so that I could move back here. In the spring of 2016, keep in mind we started back in 2009. In the spring of 2016, she got word that her child's father was in prison and had been there for months, but no one had any clue where Amira was. Let me read that again. And you guys know one of my poignant and famous hashtags that originates from the AFC, which is hashtag date thugs, date death. There's a reason that I'm bringing that up. I'm going to assume that he was a thug by way of his actions, not by way of his skin color, but by way of his actions, okay? Let me read this part again. In the spring of 2016, she got word that her child's father was in prison and had been there for months. So I am going to assume that if he was in prison, he was probably doing some illicit deeds, okay? But nobody had any clue where Amira was. She had never been enrolled in school. She had never been to the doctor. So now everybody's wondering, what is this little girl? Who has her? McWilliams said. The timetable surrounding Amira's disappearance is not precise, but the last time anybody could recall seeing her was the fall of 2016, a few months after her father was incarcerated. And I would love to know what he was incarcerated for. Amira was 8 years old when an official missing persons report was filed. They started investigating. They went to the prison. They gave a lie detector test. He came up with this story of a lady named Linda in Waco and him leaving Amira with the lady. And when he got out, he was going to go get her, according to the mother, according to what the biological mother is saying that she was told. Tierra says officers went to the address he gave them for that woman, but no one by that name lived on that property. Law enforcement also did a cadaver search of one of the father's last known residences in Hubbard, Texas, but there was still no sign of her. The Center for Missing and Exploited Children had released a age progression photo, which I think I've already showed you guys. And for some reason, there was also somebody that looked like they tried to create a GoFundMe for that girl also. Not a GoFundMe, I'm sorry. Let me retract that big time. Not that. Somebody created a Facebook page. Excuse me, I misspoke. Big time misspoke. Let me show you guys this. June 11th of 2020. Somebody put her name, first and last name, and those look like those might be pictures of her. I could be wrong, but it looks like somebody tried to start a Facebook page for her. That could be completely wrong, but when I typed her name in on Facebook, this was the page that came up. I just thought that was odd, and it was dated June 11th of 2020. I just thought that was really, really odd. So, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children had released an age progression photo of Amira over the years. October the 1st of 2022 would be her 14th birthday. Fox 26 asked Tierra McWilliams, the biological mother, what she believes may have happened to her daughter, and her answer was heartbreaking. She said, and I quote, "God has given me peace. I had to get sober to get it. But he's given me peace, and I know that my daughter is with him," McWilliams said through tears. What does she mean by she had to get sober? What does that mean? Does she do drugs? Does she drink? Or is she just talking about just her unclear mindset? I don't really know what she meant by I had to get sober to get it. I don't really know what that means, but let's keep going. Amira's father has since been released from prison. He and his girlfriend don't live far from McWilliams and says that she's spoken with him and has begged for answers to no avail. Tierra says that the pain of losing her daughter is something she'll live with forever. I don't know if the questions will ever stop as a mother, but I would like to begin to heal, she said. This mother says she believes that there are people out there who have information of some kind of clue in Amira's disappearance that can help the police solve this case. Anybody with information should contact Houston Police at 713-884-3131 or Crime Stoppers at 713-521-4600. You can also click here for a look at an official record of long-term missing persons throughout the state of Texas. And again, that article is in fox26houston.com. So thank you for the article. Here's another thing that I know about Houston that's very prevalent. The sex trafficking industry in Texas, especially in Houston, from what I understand, is pretty high and it's pretty bad. There is no telling where this baby ended up or where she is, if she even is. But some type of way, they need to get some answers. But let me give you guys the fair usage. in hopes of spreading this story. I hope that you guys will share it and help get this message out there to more people, okay? Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And a super easy way to be able to spread these messages is just to click that thumbs up. Share it in your social media streams if you can. Share the story in any type of group that talks about missing and exploited children, okay? Here we go.
Fox 26 is committed to shining a light on the thousands of missing people from the greater Houston area. In tonight's edition of The Missing, our Gabby Hart speaks with a mother who sent her 4-year-old daughter to spend the summer with her father here in Houston, and that child never returned home.
Yeah, this case really has a lot of moving pieces. This mother says when she came to get her daughter and take her back home, the child's father wouldn't allow it. So she left empty-handed, and eventually she lost all contact with her child. A few years later, she would learn that the child's father was in prison and that no one had any idea where her daughter was.
Disconnected. I couldn't reach out to anyone. No one was returning any of my phone calls or even opening my messages on Messenger.
The last time she spoke with Amira, she was 6 years old. After that conversation, all communication ended. Tiara would spend the next year sending text messages to Amira's father and his girlfriend, pleading to speak with her daughter.
Filed court papers. I started getting things together so that I could move back here.
In spring of 2016, Tiara got word that her child's father was in prison. He had been there for months, but no one had any clue what happened to Amira.
She had never been enrolled in school. She had never been to the doctor. So now everyone's wondering, okay, where is this little girl? You know, who has her?
The timetable surrounding Amira's disappearance isn't precise, but the last time anyone could recall seeing her was the fall of 2016, a few months after her father was incarcerated. She was 8 years old when an official missing persons report was filed.
They started investigating. They went to the prison. They gave lie detector tests. He came up with this story of a lady named Linda and at Waco, and him leaving Amira with the lady, and when he got out, he was gonna go get her.
Tiara says officers went to the address he gave them for that woman, but no one by that name lived on the property. Law enforcement also did a cadaver search of one of the father's last known residences in Hubbard, Texas. There was still no sign of Amira.
Do you think you ever blamed yourself?
Oh yeah, I still do. I mean, I can't, I'm mom, I was supposed to protect her.
I'm sorry, but a lot of this story just doesn't make any sense at all. I just got a ton of questions.
Center for Missing and Exploited Children has released age progression photos of Amira over the years. October 1st of 2022 is her 14th birthday, and this is what she would look like today.
What do you, in your heart, believe happened to your daughter? Where do you think she is today?
God has given me peace. I had to get sober to get it, but he's given me peace. And I know my daughter's with him.
You don't believe that there's any chance she's still out there?
I know she's not.
Amira's father has since been released from prison, and he and his girlfriend don't live far from Tiara. She says she's spoken with him and begged for answers.
He was just saying, T, I'm in a halfway house. I can't go get her right now. As soon as I can move around and get out of here, I'm gonna go get her.
He's gonna go get her?
Yeah.
This was when did he?
This was in 2020.
That never happened. Amira hasn't been seen in 6 years. Tiara says the pain of losing her daughter is something that she'll live with forever.
I don't know if the questions will ever stop as a mother, but I would like to begin to heal.
Now, this mother says she believes there are people out there who have information or some kind of clue in Amira's disappearance that can help police solve this case. She only hopes that they'll do the right thing by picking up the phone and calling police or the Texas Center for the Missing. I'm Gabby Hart, Fox 26 News.
So, you guys have heard and seen what I've seen and what I've heard, and all we can do is just pray that this child is still alive and still out there. I personally believe that she is still out there, probably in the wrong hands with the wrong people. And I think that the biological father not only was a thug prior to all of this, but especially whatever he went to prison for, I think that further just solidifies my theory about him being a thug and that he was never really a great person, a law-abiding citizen, a good father, a good choice for a man, or anything like that. And this is why I always try to tell people to be mindful. When you date thugs, you date that stupid is the stupid thugs. And when you make your bed, you got to lay in it. There are a lot of bad things that come, with making these decisions like this and really making a bad choice in who you choose as a father. But again, I don't know what the mother meant by, she had to get sober to get it. I don't really know what that meant. I don't know if she meant like as far as drugs or alcohol or just like a sober mindset. I don't really know what she meant by that. I would have loved for her to explain that. But like I say, to let it go as long as it did and just like, okay, well, he's got the kid. I'm going to go home and man, wouldn't have went home. I wouldn't have went home without my kid, especially if you fear for their life. Like you should have never even took her there to begin with, let alone leave your kid there. Just, okay. I know some people in Houston might not get it. I know the biological mom ain't going to get it, but maybe some of you guys kind of understand the question that I'm asking is if you cared about your daughter, if this was a big deal to you. And again, I am castigating the mom because like I say, if she didn't bring the child back to a dangerous situation, maybe we don't even get here. That makes no sense. If you survived being in the thug lion cage, why would you go back? I don't get it. What's the point? Let me say it a little more bluntly. Ma'am, if your baby daddy ain't shit, then why would you take your daughter back to a man who's already proven he is a danger to you and will more than likely be a danger to your daughter? He ain't shit. And the fact that this man did prison time and just got out of prison, I think further solidifies my idea that he still ain't shit. And whatever your daughter suffered through, I believe that you might have just handed her over to whatever happened to her. And that's my true belief. That's my true thought. And like I said, if I'm wrong about that, then maybe the biological father can contact me and he can tell me what the real deal is. If he wants to really tell us what's going on. And people always talk about, well, you don't know what's going on and this and that. Well, don't nobody want to tell us shit. The people that do know don't want to talk. So how will we ever get the real story then? Yes, we're going to speculate. Yes, we need to try to go and search on our own. Yes, we need to keep our eyes open. Yes, we need to do podcasts like this and put this baby's face out there, age progressive, whatever we need to do. Because if we see her out there in the world, then we're going to see something and say something and bring her back our damn selves. That's what the advocates for children do. And I pray that that girl is still out there. I pray that she's alive. And I pray that she has a chance to be saved. And when we get that opportunity, I hope that we jump on it, okay? Thank you guys so much. Keep that baby in your prayers, Amira Dietrich. We're going to keep you in our prayers, young sister, and hope that we can find you. Thank you guys so much. Spread this story about these missing and exploited children, okay? Thank you.